Welcome to an introduction to the Vitocrossal 200 CI2. In this discussion, we will explore the custom features of the Vitocrossal 200 CI2. We'll describe the built-in Lambda Pro 2 combustion management technology, and we'll identify the installation advantages from custom residential to commercial applications. A quick look at the CI2 family: 6 boilers, 399,000 BTUs, 500,000 BTUs, 750,000 BTUs, 1 million BTUs, 1.5 million BTUs, and 2 million BTUs. A quick glance at some specifications, the 6 boilers across the family. We won't go over all of the dimensions, but we focus in here on the width. So the width remains 29.5 inches across the entire family of boilers. And that's an important dimension because it allows us to roll the boiler through any standard doorway. Take a peek at the weights, considerable weights here. So we're truly talking about a lot of mass in terms of the boiler and the heat exchanger. This is a high mass boiler. So considerable amount of water, 29 gallons in the 399,000 and the 500, 50 in the 750 and 1 million, 99 in the 2 million, and then 113 gallons in the 1.5 million. Modulation or turndown ratios are listed here. All impressive, but a particular standout here is the 1.5 million at a 30-to-1 turndown ratio. We're going to look at some key points here. So the 399 through 1 million, we can refer to as a single boiler. So one burner and one heat exchanger. As we get into the 1.5 million and the 2 million, they get considerably taller, but maintain the 29.5-inch width. And in order to do this, what we've done is we've stacked 2 boilers. So the 1.5 million is a 1 million boiler on the bottom and a 0.5 million on the top. And when we have the 2 million, we have a 1 million boiler on the bottom and a 1 million on the top. Maximum pressure is 80 psi. We will actually supply the boiler with an 80 psi relief valve. It can be ordered with 30, 45, or 60. Adjustable high limit, 185 degrees Fahrenheit, with a fixed high limit or a trip limit of 210. The CI2 is cascadable, and it's cascadable with no additional cascade controller. So up to 16 boilers, with one boiler being the lead and the remaining boilers being the lag. We can mix capacities in a cascade. We can mix BTU inputs. An optional combustion air filtering system is available. And in terms of cascading, we can also common vent boilers. We can actually common vent up to 4, with the caveat that all of the commonly vented boilers are of the same BTU capacity. Remote access is available through a Wago gateway, and that of course means BMS compatibility, BACnet or Modbus with communication via the Wago gateway. So some quick takeaways here: highest thermal efficiency in class, highest water volume in class. So key thing to remember here: high water volume, high mass boiler. The Lambda Pro 2, this is a patented O2 combustion control. So we are utilizing a very robust oxygen sensor in the combustion zone. And small footprint, big impact. So this boiler really addresses the fact that mechanical rooms are not getting bigger. We have a small footprint, but BTU inputs from 399,000 to 2 million, and then with the ability to cascade. And high modulation. Just an image here noting sort of a comparison to the CI2, the previous generation of boiler in this space. And we note a 58% decrease in size for similarly sized heating plants. The piloting process on this boiler is really interesting. So here we see a CI2. Now this is just for demonstration purposes. When you actually purchase a CI2, it will be fully jacketed. So we're showing an unjacketed boiler here to demonstrate the fact that the pallet is actually part of the unloading process. So one side of the pallet is a very thick piece of plywood that's actually used as a ramp. So attached to the pallet with some wood screws just to secure it, you can then unbolt the CI2 from the pallet, crank up the landing gears, which would allow the CI2 to sit on the rolling casters, and then literally just roll the CI2 off the pallet and into place. Quick look at some fittings. So here we have the single boilers, 399 to 1 million. And here we have the double deckers, 1.5 and 2 million. A lot of similarity in terms of where things land. So on the supply, we'll find the supply sensor. This is a double sensor, essentially two thermistors reporting back boiler supply water temperature to the control. We'll also have our safety relief valve connected in the supply sensor and a low water cutoff, which is included in the boiler parts. Flue gas temperature sensor on the rear of the boiler in the flue outlet, and again, a double sensor, so two thermistors, both reporting back to the control. The revision cap, one here on the face of the boiler for singles and two on the double deckers, is actually the use here is twofold. So we'll use this in our annual service to access the heat exchanger for cleaning. And additionally, we'll do our combustion testing here. And that may seem slightly unusual, as we would typically test combustion in the flue. However, in the double deckers, as these boilers essentially can operate with some cascade logic, we may have one boiler firing and one boiler not firing. In order to prevent pressurized flue gases entering the unfired vessel will operate its burner fan, but combustion will remain off. So in order to prevent combustion testing with dilution of flue gases with a running combustion fan, our protocol in CI2 will be to test combustion in the revision caps. Quick look at fittings supplied with the boiler. So we have the singles over here and the double deckers on the right. We won't go through all of the fittings. Essentially, the fittings are to attach the key components. So relief valve, tridicator, temperature and pressure indicator, float style air vent, and low water cutoff. Additionally, siphon trap, boiler drain, and then an isolation ball valve for the gas connection at 1.5 on the single boilers and 2-inch on the 1.5 and the 2 million. Deeper look at that condensate trap. So we'll find this installed on the rear of the boiler near the flue pipe. We have a cutaway of it here. So unlike other traps that are actually trapped by condensate or water, this is a float style trap. So while it's always a good procedure to prime the trap before firing the boiler in the commissioning process, not actually necessary, as this will be trapped and then condensate will essentially float the overflow. And key point here, we always want to ensure that we have an air gap on our condensate pathway. This prevents vapor lock and potential backing up of condensate into the combustion chamber. Here's another look at the boilers sort of unjacketed, so single boilers, 399 through 1 million, and then the double deckers, 1.5 and 2 million. The cutaway here really reveals the high mass, high water volume content. So we have the burner inserted into the heat exchanger, and the stainless steel heat exchanger actually sits in a steel vessel. The entire family from 399 to 2 million is managed with just 2 burners and 2 heat exchangers. So we have a 0.5 million and then a 1 million. So essentially a 399,000 BTU CI2 will be a 0.5 million derated. A 0.5 million will be a 0.5 million. A 750,000 will be a 1 million heat exchanger derated. A 1 million will be a 1 million. When we get to the double deckers, a 1.5 will be a 1 million on the bottom and a 0.5 million on the top. And the 2 million will see a 1 million in both top and bottom locations. Closer look at the heat exchanger, some cutaways here. So this is stainless steel, really intricate stamping pattern, fully assembled here. And then a cutaway, which shows the insertion of the burner area. And then our revision cap would be here for inspection and service, and our flue connection here. And the blue in this center image indicates how the heat exchanger sits in the vessel. So the blue would indicate boiler water surrounding the heat exchanger. Quick look around the burner. This happens to be the 500,000 burner. So door insulation, burner door, and the oxygen sensor, right? Critical to the Lambda Pro 2 combustion management system. We have the burner with combustion fan, a factory assembled isolation valve on the gas train, a high and low gas switch, the gas valve, ignition transformer, ignition electrodes. We also have an ionization electrode reporting back to the control for combustion management, and then a mesh style radial burner. The only other burner in this family of boilers is the 1 million, and very similar layout, few changes, obviously a little bit bigger, still incorporating an O2 sensor. Now we'll have 3 safety switches on the gas valve, a low high gas pressure and a valve proving switch, and the addition of an E-box. So with the additional safeties here, just an additional control box mounted on the 1 million burner. Quick image here kind of showing how Lambda Pro 2 works. So as the burner is in operation, the O2 sensor will be sending feedback to the control, which is then managing the operation independently of the gas valve and the combustion air fan to optimize combustion. In terms of the gas train, 1.5" male NPT on the singles, 399 through 1 million, and 2-inch connection on the 1.5 and 2 million, with gas pressures pretty standard for the Viessmann family of gas-fired boilers, natural gas 4 to 14 inches water column, and propane at 10 to 14 inches water column. In terms of the vent connection, we see the vent adapter here on the back of the boiler. This is a stainless steel connection. So the 399 and 500 will see a 4-inch connection, with the 750,000 through 1.5 million at a 6-inch connection, and the 2 million at an 8-inch connection. 2 venting images here showing 2-pipe vertical and 2-pipe horizontal. And then the corresponding boiler flue dimensions that we just reviewed and combustion air intake dimensions. And essentially they match. So we'll have the same diameter flue and combustion air in across the entire family. And for single boilers, maximum equivalent vent lengths of 198 feet. Here we see the hybrid venting system with the flue going vertical and combustion air horizontal. And single pipe venting, just ensuring here that we have adequate combustion air supplied to the mechanical room. And our maximum equivalent vent lengths remain the same here at 198 feet. The hybrid venting is an interesting choice here, as we really minimize the likelihood of flue gas recirculation, as we have a good distance between air intake and exhaust. As we mentioned, the CI2 can be cascaded up to 16 boilers, with 4 boilers available for common venting. Keep in mind, common vented boilers must be of the same size. And in terms of maximum equivalent lengths, 399 through 1 million will remain at 198 feet, the 1.5 million at 131 feet, the 2 million at 164 feet. And one other key to take away here is the fact that the penetration on a common cascaded CI2 will always be vertical. We don't support horizontal penetrations. The horizontal common flue will be installed with a 2 to 3 degree pitch to ensure the condensate is flowing back to the boilers. Finally, the maximum equivalent length is measured through the vent to the furthest boiler, in this case, the boiler on the left. So, quick review here. just recapping of boiler flue collar dimensions, combustion air intake dimensions, and 198 maximum equivalent feet for single boilers. In order to do your actual vent length calculations, you will need the equivalent vent lengths for fittings like 45s and 90s in 4-inch, 6, and 8-inch. So this chart is right out of the venting manual, but always best practice to go to the manufacturer of the venting to ensure that you have the most up-to-date equivalent length for your calculations. Quick review of control boards. HMI, or the human machine interface, essentially the control where we will interact with the boiler for commissioning, adjustments, and viewing dashboards. HMU is the heat management unit. This controls heat distribution and organizes communication with other systems. The BCU, or boiler control unit, controls burner modulation, and all of our safeties will report back to the BCU. MZIO is multi-zone input-output. This is where we can do thermostat and pump outputs, external safeties, and connection for building management systems. We also have a TCU, a telemetric control unit. This provides a local area network, or basically a Wi-Fi access point for connection to vGuide, or connection to connectivity. So closer look at that. That connectivity allows a contractor to commission the boiler with the vGuide app. It also allows for remote monitoring for the building owner, the maintenance department, and or the servicing contractor. Quick reminder, we can cascade the CI2 up to 16 boilers. So really getting into large commercial heating plants. In terms of connection to a building automation or building management system, we'll do that with a optional Wago gateway. And that can be ordered for either Modbus or BACnet. And it's essentially hooks in as part of the cascade. So daisy chained with the cascade, and then providing the communication to the BAS system. The vGuide mobile app allows a contractor to do quick and intuitive commissioning, and some sort of quick look here at that process, and sort of a comparison, because the boiler can be commissioned both with vGuide or on the HMI in single boiler applications. So quick look at some highlights of commissioning. Here's where a contractor will set language, date and time, units, select the gas type. And this is an interesting parameter because there are no other adjustments. There's no work to be done on the gas valve, simply a step in commissioning. Entering contractor contact details for future service work, and choosing the operating mode like weather compensated operation or fixed set point. We'll also input a flue system length to further help Lambda Pro 02 do proper combustion calibration. Once commissioned, the HMI will show dashboard. So in this case, heating circuits, noting reference temperatures and setbacks with appropriate adjustments. DHW, noting DHW set points with temperature and time program adjustments available. And device status, reporting burner target, burner supply temperature, current modulation, and outdoor temperature. Also with the ability to turn individual heating zones and circuits off. In terms of comparison, what this chart is indicating, in comparison to the B2HA wall hung boilers and some other boilers in the field, in this class, the CI2 is truly a high mass boiler, whereas a lot of other boilers in this area are really just larger residential wall hungs. The CI2 is designed as a high standing floor mass boiler. Another comparison here, in this case, we're looking at the 750,000 BTU CI2. Quick comparison to the previous gen CM2 and some other boilers that live in this space. Green sort of indicating best of class here. So 1 to 10 turn down ratio, cascadability up to 16 boilers, excellent thermal efficiency, high water content, onboard combustion control, and zero clearance combustibles for tight side-by-side installations. Now, the comparative look here at the 1.5 million to the previous gen CM2 and two other boilers in the space, and we see lots of green here. So truly impressive 1:30 turn-down ratio, but yet with small footprint at 1.5 million, cascadability, again, up to 16 boilers, highest thermal efficiency in class, highest water content, Lambda Pro 2 combustion management on board, and side-by-side installation available. So as a quick recap, CI2 highest thermal efficiency in its class, and truly a high mass, high water content boiler. The Lambda Pro 2 combustion management system is a Viessmann patented system. This is going to keep heat exchangers clean and keep us at optimum efficiency through the lifespan of the boiler. Really unique packaging concept with integrated rollers on the boiler and a pallet wall that serves as a ramp. Service-friendly, intuitive commissioning on both the HMI and with the V-Guide mobile app, and small footprint with big BTU impact. And finally, high modulation to across the family, but particularly in the 1.5 at 30-to-1 turn down. So quick recap here of our learning objectives. We explored the custom features of the Vitocrossal 200 CI2. We described the built-in Lambda Pro 2 technology. And we identified the installation advantages from custom residential to commercial applications in a quick introduction. Thank you.